How y'all doing today? I'm Darrell J. Bennett. I want to talk today about belief systems. I was talking about it yesterday. I told you I'd be back today because this is something that's really strong in my heart. In fact, the last book that I wrote, or the book before the last book that I wrote, is called Your BS is Holding You Back, Your Belief System. As a matter of fact, I should go get the book. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm back. All right. Your BS is holding you back. That's the second to the last book I wrote. Your belief system. Your belief system is holding you back. I'm not cursing at you, I promise. Your belief system. And today I want to show you something that I hope and pray will give you some idea of what I'm talking about more concretely. I talked about it yesterday, but I wanted to give you the image. So you take this. This is one of my laptops here. This is one of my lighter laptops that I can travel with pretty easily. I can slip it in a backpack, go wherever I need to go. This is why I like it. It's not the largest one that I have, and I want to like watch movies, but it gets the job done and it's quick or light. Now, if you notice, there's several apps that's on here. It's a bunch of apps, as I'm sure your computer has as well. But the apps is not to be confused with the operating system. So the operating system is a Windows operating system. The operating system is the foundation for everything that happens on here. So even if I have a nice app, if the operating system is malfunctioning, then the app itself is going to malfunction. And the reason why I want you to kind of see this is, I think sometimes what happens is we get focused on, the apps. Let me just pull this back up. We get focused on the apps in life. The apps. The electives, the things that we want, the things that we desire, kind of neglecting the fact that there's a foundation that may be missing. So we focus on getting the app, which is, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's a possession, maybe it's an asset, maybe it's a relationship. It's a thing, whether it's personal, professional, private. I mean, it's, public. It's something. But the question is the operating system. What do you believe about your life? What do you believe? And I'm not against apps. Clearly I'm not as I'm talking physically or metaphysically. I'm not against apps. I'm not against leveling up. I'm not against doing the things that you want to do to get more and achieve more and be more driven, be more ambitious and be more goal oriented and all of that, and watch the podcast and read the book and go to the seminar. But if your foundation through which you're hearing things and you're filtering things is messed up, then you can go to 100 seminars and you're still going to be at the same place. So if you notice, one of the things that people start talking about, or we start hearing people say more of, is capacity building. What does capacity building look like? Capacity building, this was my prayer for you yesterday, that's the prayer of Jabez, that your territory would be enlarged. He wasn't talking about his backyard. He wasn't talking about the acreage of his farms. He really wasn't. That did get enlarged as his mindset was enlarged, but he was talking about an expansion of territory. So when we talk about capacity building, we're talking about putting ourselves in places and spaces around people to get different paradigms and different ways of thinking, so that way we can begin to have a bigger capacity. So we could change our operating system, so we could change the way things are filtered into our lives. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the operating system, capacity building. Because if you went to 100 seminars, but you still have not gotten how to see yourself differently, the fact that you are powerful, that you are great, that you are amazing, that you're spectacular, then we're still at square one. For some of you, you got to deal with negative self-talk. It's not that you're not smart. You keep talking yourself out of your blessing. Every time you're close, every time you're about to achieve it, every time there's something amazing about to happen in your life, you let your words shut it down. So we're talking about capacity building. We're talking about how do we change our operating system, your belief system. Your belief system. Now let me show you something else. I want to show you something else. This blessed my spirit when I got it. I'm going to show you on the computer. But in all you're getting, I want you to get understanding. All right. So check this out, y'all. Check this out. Okay. So I have my computer set to what I learned in college. It may be outdated now, but this is what I learned in college. When you type in a paper or you're doing anything on the computer, you should start with Times New Roman 12 font. So that's what I have here. All right, so let me show you something, right? I don't have anything on the paper yet. It's a blank page, but this is, you see, this is my settings in there. Times New Roman 12 font. Now let me show you something. I'm going to put, my name is Darrell. Okay. I'm going to say my name is Darrell Bennett. You see that? It's not like, okay, you see my name is Darrell Bennett. Now, I want to add something to it, and I want to say, I am happy today. All right? I am happy today. But I want to do something. I am happy today to look different than my name is Darrell. So what do? Right? Let's go. I want to show you my process. I'm going to highlight it. All right? And then instead of it being Times New Roman, what do I want to do? I want to make it, let's make it Bookman old style. I like that. That's another. And I'm going to make it 16 font, so it's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it italics. You see what I just did? So I made it bigger, bolder, italics. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is my question for you. I appreciate you bearing with me on this because this might look elementary to you, but I want you to get this. I want you to get this in your spirit. Now, when I continue writing, what are we going to see? The new font or the default font? That's the question. You already know the answer. It's going to be the original font. So if I go and I say, you know, I'm happy today and I'm very grateful, and I am very grateful. Wait a minute, what's happening? It reverted back. It reverted back to the original font. Why? Because when I made the changes were only applied to this sentence because I never changed the default. And until I change the default, every time I add another sentence, another clause, another preposition, another word, another iota, I have to continue to exert extra energy and effort to get it where I need to get it because the default has not shifted. What's your default? Huh? Emotionally, what's your default? What's the default that you go to? Is it gratitude or is it anger? Is it faith or is it frustration? No, we all deal with both in our lives. I'm not saying that, but you do have a default. You do have what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls an emotional home. It don't mean you don't leave that home, but it is a home. It is the place where you most feel comfortable in your emotions. Do you feel more comfortable? Do you lean more toward happiness, faith, hope, or anger and stress? We're talking about the default. Until the default changes, the document will remain the same. Don't you get where I'm trying to go here with this? I'm not talking about fonts on a computer. I'm not talking about operating systems and apps or computing devices. I'm talking about belief systems and defaults in our own lives. I'm really coming to talk to you to help you get away from, and this is why I wrote this book, to help you get away from this spirit of stuck. I want to rebuke it. I want to rebuke it. It's a spirit of stuck. It's a stuck spirit. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know, not what I read. I'm telling you what I know. Listen to me, what I know. It's a stuck spirit. It's a spirit that's seeking to contain you. Remember I told you that when the Americans were fighting the communists, that the policy that came out of the White House during the Truman administration was we can't fight them weapon for weapon because it'll just be disastrous on all ends. So the policy that came out was the policy of containment. We decided we were going to fight the enemy by containing the enemy. Just keep the enemy in their sphere. The enemy is trying to contain you. The enemy has a policy of containment in your life. So the enemy is against you expanding. The enemy is against you accelerating. The enemy is against you getting bigger. The enemy don't have a problem with you still controlling what you controlled before. When you come to expand, that was Jabez's prayer. It wasn't about the acreage on his farm. I already dealt with that. It was so much bigger than that because he understood that when you start talking about territories and expansion of capacities, that's when all hell breaks loose. You ever wonder why the prayer of Jabez comes in the middle of a story about genealogies? And it's in Chronicles. They're going from this person begat this person, and this person begat this person, this person begat this person. That's all they were talking about. And then it's like this pause of, and then comes Jabez and says, Lord, enhance my territory, because it's a generational struggle. Some of what you're fighting against, your BS, your operating system, your belief system, some of what you're fighting against has been ingrained for generations. Remember when Jesus went and saw the demoniac, and the demoniac was, said, I'm Legion. Actually, the thing in him started speaking, and the thing in him said, you could send us away, but don't make us leave the territory. Don't make us leave the country. We don't want to leave the area. We don't mind leaving the man if we have to. If we really, really have to, we don't mind leaving the man. We don't mind leaving the individual. We want to stay in the family. We want to stay in the neighborhood. We want to stay in the community. We want to set up shop and keep this system going so we can still create damage in this place later. The enemy is concerned about you expanding your territory. So when I'm talking about belief systems, I'm not just talking about ideas that you have in your mind. I'm talking about the web of consciousness that is being outpictured in your life. Whose report do you believe? Why is it that the prophet said, but who has believed the report of the Lord? Why do you think it all comes down to belief? Because that's the operating system. That's the operating system. Remember when the master said that there was seed that was sown? The problem was not with the seed that was sown. The same seed was sown. The same seed was sown, but some of it fell on stony ground, and some of it fell on shallow ground, and some of it fell on ground where the thorns and thistles came and sucked it out, and some of it fell on ground that wasn't cultivated, it wasn't watered, it wasn't receptive, it wasn't ready, and some of it did bear fruit, some of it. But the ones that bear fruit didn't all bear the same type of fruit, and they didn't all bear the same level of fruit, and they all didn't have the same level of efficacy, because the master tells us that some it was 20-fold, and some it was 30-fold, and some was 60-fold, and for some it was 100-fold return. What's the difference in what flowered and what didn't, and what prospered and what flourished and what did not? It was not the seed. It was the environment. It was the system that the seed was sown in. It's the operating system. It's the operating system. I have an app, a little app, like a real app. And version 2 is coming out soon. It's called Journey. Here's the app right here. All right, this is one of the apps we're creating, right? This app. So somebody was one of the beta people. These are people that have helped testing the app. He's giving me issues with the app, and I'm talking to him. I'm talking to the person that helped me put it together. I'm talking to the development team, and finally I figured out the problem isn't with the app. The problem is with your phone. And he realized he hadn't had an update. It was a certain update he needed so he could be able for things to run more smoothly. It wasn't the app that was the problem. It was his operating system. Have you ever, it was you and somebody else and y'all sat in the same seminar and you got so much more out of it than the next person? It wasn't because you're smarter or because you're better. It's because You have a different operating system. And your operating system is going to determine what you can receive and how much of it you can receive. If I had time, I would talk to you about the confirmation bias. I talk about it in here. The confirmation bias is that you will seek subconsciously even, but you will seek, listen to me, you will seek for things that confirm what you already believe. That's the power of belief. So if you feel that the world is out to get you, if you feel that everybody is rich, did something screwed up and jacked up to get there, if you feel like everybody's trying to scam you and do you wrong and pull you astray, if you feel like the economy's horrible and you can't get ahead, if you feel like because of who's in the White House or who's not in the White House, your opportunities are stunted, according to your faith, be it unto you. You're going to find yourself in places and situations that's going to help out picture it. I'm telling you, that's what confirmation bias is. My mother would tell me this all the time growing up. You're going to find what you're looking for. I didn't really understand that until I started getting older. You know, people, they look for mess, not just in the world, but even in their personal relationships. And guess what they keep finding? Because you're gonna find what you're looking for. Why do you think the apostle was so vociferous about saying, think on these things, think about things that are lovely and of kind and of good report? You don't have control over everything that's going to happen in your life. That's not what I'm saying. But you do have control over your belief system. You have control over your belief system. I can choose to believe the report of the Lord. I can choose to believe that great things are going to happen for me. I can choose to believe I'm in faith. I was just talking to a entrepreneur the other day, and she said this year is not shaping up to be a good year. I said, don't you say that. Don't you say that. Because mind you, we're in conversations about her investing in herself by purchasing coaching services with me. I said, you better not curse your life by speaking that nonsense and then hand me some paper dollars. No, you will not do that. How are you going to call the whole year in April? Now, it is a fact to say what has been the case over the past few months. But if you, this is what I say. You got a crystal ball? Because now you're going into the place of soothsaying and fortune telling. If you're going to tell me you know tomorrow, because tomorrow belongs to God. Because tomorrow belongs to God. How did your belief system change such that you think you can call a whole year when we just got out of winter? We just got out of winter. We literally some of us are still taking down the Christmas tree. When you read the word with the mindset of transformation, you start to see that there's as much talk about our belief systems as there is anything else. You know, heaven and hell are mentioned like a fraction of as much as not fearing, just believe. Like, how many times did Jesus say that? Just Jesus. I'm not even touching anybody else. Just Jesus saying, don't fear, just believe, just believe, just believe. Just believe, just believe, just believe, just believe. Didn't I tell you, he told Martha, that if you believed, you would see the goodness of God? Didn't I go over this with you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? John said when he wrote his epistle, he said I could have included so many other things because there were so many things that happened but it's no way I can include everything, but I included what I included. This is what he wrote, so that way you might believe. It was all about belief. It was all about believe. Believe in the Lord, and you and your household will be saved. Believe. Believe, 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 believe. Because the enemy's after your belief system. The enemy's been after your belief system. That was the whole thing about Eve. Did God really say? Did God really say you're like him? Because the enemy's after your belief system. And so the reason why I showed you what I showed you earlier today, when I showed you on the computer and I'm writing you through the document and talking about defaults, is because I want you to begin thinking in yourself, what is my default? That's what I've been thinking about myself. I'm talking about Darrell J. Bennett now. What's my default? I'm not going to get into that here, because that ain't for everybody to know. But I'm learning that because this is the thing. You can't change the document until you change the default. And your problem has been you've gone from webinar to webinar, and you've done podcasts, and you sat in different people's class, and you've probably paid for mentorship here or there sporadically. But until what's out there seeps in here, nothing changes. You see? You see that we're not just seeking for an outward change. When Jesus was talking about what was going on with the Pharisees and this outwardly there, what did he say? White and pristine, but on the inside they're full of dead men's bones. Again, when you take that a deeper layer, we're not just talking about the Pharisees from a sense of people who were the religious aristocracy 2,000 years ago. What Jesus is talking about is timeless. What he's saying is that God is interested in a heart transformation. Create in me a clean heart and an upright spirit. Remember, David said, a broken spirit and a contrite heart, to this he will draw nigh. Because really, when we're talking about heart now, we're talking about a mind heart. We're talking about belief systems. We're talking about belief systems, because that's what we choose from. We choose good or evil based on a belief system. We move forward and not based on the belief system. So part of the reason why I talk a lot about the belief system is because I don't want you to just get more information. I want you to get understanding. See, that's the difference. Information sits on top of your belief system. Understanding changes it. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Understanding changes the way that you see the world. That's what you need. You need a change in the way you see the world. You need a change in the way that you see your identity. You need a change in the way that you see your relationship, even with yourself. It's not enough to just get more information, because the information is the app that's sitting on top of your operating system. Right? The apps are nice, but the apps, if they are not tethered to an operating system that is strong, that's efficient, that's power driven, then you're going to find yourself wanting, not because you don't have the information, not because you don't even have the network. Some people, you got the networks, you got the people around you, but your belief system is messed up. Why do you think the Bible's always talking about revelation? Because that's what understanding. You can't see, information will help you to organize what you see, but intuition will help you see what you had never seen before. See, you need revelation. You don't need more information. You need revelation. This is where we're talking about understanding. This is where we talk about your mind being changed. This is where I want to end. Remember when Saul, people don't talk about it a lot because we tend to skip over Saul. We go right to David. You know how we do. We like to one size fit all people. We like to put everybody, we like to put their whole life into one sentence. So it's like Saul was running after David, but before he was doing that, he was an upright king. He was head and shoulders above all in Israel. He was the Lord's anointed. You might not recognize it, but David did. But anyway, I'm bringing him up because we're told in the book of Samuel's first book that when Samuel is anointing him, the word says that when Saul goes out from before him, that God changed his heart and gave him a different heart. He gave him a different heart. He gave him a different way of seeing the world. He gave him a different belief system. He had to have. Yeah, he still had flaws, yeah, clearly. But he had to have. Think about it. The young son of Kish, who we find trying to find these donkeys, his father's donkeys, that went wayward, and he's going from city to city and region to region with this servant trying to find the donkeys. And he then encounters the great Samuel, and Samuel anoints him as the next king. Israel had never even had a king. So there had to be a changing of the guard in his life, in his mind. The default had to change. This is what I want to end you with. Will your default change? And this is the thing. Saul still ended up kind of crashing and burning toward the end. And that was after the heart change. So imagine how you going through life and you don't have a heart change. You don't have a different way of seeing things. You need a new way of seeing the world. You need a new way of seeing the world. When Jesus was talking about old wineskins and new wineskins and new wine can't be in old wineskins, he's talking about capacity. He's talking about belief systems. I don't want your BS to hold you back. Your belief system, I don't want it to hold you back. What if God wants to bless you more than you want to be blessed? Just what if for a second? Go with me in that land for 1 second. I know the enemy's telling you different. I know the enemy's telling you that if you're going through everything you're going through, it's because God doesn't like you. I know, but just put that on the shelf for a second and rock with me and ask and just go into the land of what if God is trying to get it to you, but you're not seeing it and you're not receiving it and you have resistance. What if everything you're seeking for is seeking for you too? I was watching this thing on YouTube and the guy, it's a dog, it's a pit bull. The woman lets the pit bull go and the pit bull runs toward the front door of this house. I guess they obviously know the people on the inside of the house, and so the pit bull scratched on the front and kind of whining, and as the woman gets closer with the camera, you could hear the dog on the other end whining and screaming as well, because there's another dog on the other end. Apparently this is like the dog's friend, and they're both scratching and whining at the door, waiting for the humans to get close enough for someone to open it. And as I was watching that, I just got a vision of how many times are we scratching at a door to be open, or we feel frustrated, or we feel like we feel like we're alone, but right on the other side of that door is something is looking for you too. Something's looking for you too. This is the good place that I want to leave. We talked about confirmation bias. I'm going to tell you where I want to get off today. We talked about seeking, you'll find, or actually we talked more about what are you looking for. Think on these things that are lovely, a kind, and good report. You want to know why? Because what you're looking for, not only are you going to find, but it's also looking for you. This is the principle here. It's not that everything you do to others will be done unto you. It's already been done to you. You know what she said on The Color Purple? It's already been done. That's the golden rule on like steroids. It's already been done. It's just a matter of it manifesting. So if I'm looking for the best in people, if I'm looking for opportunities, if I'm looking for favor, if I'm looking for doors to be open, what that means is metaphysically, I am putting out into the world a signal that's going to make it so that those things are actually looking for me too. They're looking for me too. They're looking for me too. So no, it's not that I don't believe in bad things happening or lack or poverty or crime or all that. I just don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it. Because I don't want it looking for me. You see, I'd rather think about the things that are lovely. I'd rather think about the things that are of good report. I'd rather think about the things that are high-minded. I'd rather think about the things that make me feel good. I had a friend that said that everything's not rosy and peaches. And I was like, I never said that it was. You act like you don't have a bad day. No, you just don't see me have it. What are you talking about? Because you can't do nothing about it. So I'm not gonna put that energy out to you. And now stuff gets boomerang back. No, I'm looking for goodness, and I'm looking for mercy, and I'm looking for favor, and I'm looking for open doors, and I'm looking for possibilities, and I'm looking for people to bless me, and I'm looking for resources, and I'm looking for favor, and I'm looking for wealth, and I'm looking for money, and I'm looking for doors to be open. And I expect the same for you. I want you to look for the same. I want you to change your belief system. I want you to start speaking the word and believing that it's possible for you. You should be the lender. You should be the lender. You should be the head. You should be on top. You should be prosperous. You are prosperous. You are prosperous. You are prosperous. The question is, have you recognized it? It may not be in the way you want at this moment, but you have more than what you're giving yourself credit for. And you've overcome more than you're giving yourself credit for. What's your default? I think that's where I'll leave you today. Because what you're looking for is looking for you. I got to get off, but I just want to keep reiterating that for somebody. What you're looking for is looking for you. 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 Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely, this is the part I love, surely, 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 goodness and mercy will follow me. Follow me. David was talking about the law of attraction before we ever had that word. Follow me. Goodness and mercy are following me. Don't you want to be in a place where you have aligned your belief system to expect favor, to expect goodness, to expect good reports, to expect good calls? Somebody, I don't answer unknown numbers. I don't go. Why? Because you expect negativity from it. But what if it's a blessing? What if it's a bank that's calling from an unknown number and they got to get the money off their books and it was monies that they owed you? I need to answer it. I need to answer it. I need to answer it. It's amazing how we start to think every unknown is a negative thing. That's the spirit of darkness that's did it to us. But what if you aligned your belief system to expect goodness, to expect mercy, to expect favor, to expect big breaks, to expect unexpected monies, to expect the unexpected, yeah, to expect surprise, to expect God to open up a door, to expect to get a text that says we need you to take care of this and we got this amount of budget to do it, to expect it. I want you to expect it. I want you to expect it. I want you to live in the finished work this week. I want you to expect great things are going to happen, and I want you to talk it. And I want you to talk it. See, we haven't gotten there yet, but when you start really shifting your belief system, what you say is going to shift. You're going to start talking over yourself with kindness. You're going to start talking over yourself with good report. You're going to start talking over yourself with power. You're going to start talking over yourself with authority. You're going to start talking over yourself like life and death is in the power of your tongue. You're going to start talking over yourself like you are like God and actually can create. You're going to start talking over yourself differently when your belief system shifts. That's what we got to change your belief system. Siri is working off of the operating system. Siri only had the words that the operating system could give it. You need a new set of vocabulary, but you got to get a different operating system. You got to upgrade it. I would not that you would be conformed to the system of this world, but that you would be metamorphosed. You see, transform. It's an inside-out transformation. That's the transformation. It's not just it's not just about a caterpillar that becomes a butterfly. You're still looking at the outside. Imagine how the relationship of the caterpillar has to change with himself in order to become a butterfly. The thing that looks like a worm is moving totally different than that which is flying. The outward change is only a signification of that which had changed inwardly. I think in this world, we get so focused on the outward and the carnal. We're so focused on that, and that's nice, but that is a shadow of what has already changed inwardly. I don't want you to be conformed to this world system because this is the thing about your belief system. I got to get off, but this is the thing about your belief system. Your belief system is either going to be tethered to what God says or what to the world says. And when it says that the world is the enemy of God, this is the thing. It's not that the people of the world are the enemy of God. See, this is where we got it messed up. This is where we got churchy and religious, and this is where we started demonizing people. That's not what it was about. It was about a system. We're talking about a world system that's against the thought of God, not the people. He died so that the world through him might be saved, right? So we know that. But we're talking about a system. He's not going to save this world system. This system's not going to be saved. This system will go. Let me just get that real clear. This system will not, the revolution won't be televised. This system won't be coming with us. but the people will. And so when the apostle says, I don't want you to be conformed to the pattern of this world system, it's a thinking, it's a culture. You ever wonder why, and I talk about that here, you ever wonder why the root word of culture is cult? You ever wondered that? It's not a play on words, it's actually something. You ever wonder why the planting in the ground and the harvesting is called agriculture? It's all connected. I don't have time to get into that now. I really don't have time to get into that now, but it's all connected. That's why you don't hear me say I'm a part of this culture. No, I'm not. No. Because I'm not a part of your cult. I'm a part of the kingdom. You see what I'm saying? I'm a part of the kingdom. And so that means that our beliefs have to be different. This is how serious Jesus was about beliefs. Remember when the man was blind and the disciples come to Jesus and say, who sinned? Was it the man or his parents that sinned? And Jesus said, you're wrong. It was done for the glory of God. Isn't it interesting that Jesus says you're wrong to an answer that was either, it wasn't like a question that they were asking, are we right or are we wrong? They were saying, Jesus, did he sin or did his parents sin? It's not that Jesus said, well, neither one sinned. He started with saying, you're wrong. What was he saying? Your whole reasoning is wrong. It's like if I come up to you and I say, when I go down the street to go to the store, do I make a left or right? And if you just say, you're wrong. Wait a minute, that wasn't an option. The option was left or right. That's what they were basically saying to Jesus. Did this man sin or did his parents sin? Because for him to show up like this in the world and be blind and to have this infirmity, somebody must have sinned. That's essentially the inference. And Jesus came at the source of it and said, you're wrong. You're wrong. What were they wrong about? The thinking, the reasoning, their belief system, their operating system. This operating system that everything that's bad in the world happened because of sin. It was done for the glory of God. Scratch your head on that one. He didn't get into what the glory would be or why it was done the way it was done. All he just said was it was done for the glory of God. So, Jesus was that concerned about the belief system because he wanted the disciples to have a belief system that aligned with his. Remember when he got ready to heal one person and Jesus said, do you believe I can do it? I don't think Jesus was asking because he didn't know if he could do it. Jesus, I'm talking about. No, he wanted to know, where's the guy? Where are you at? Your belief system. Your belief system. All right, y'all. Let me go. I love you. Let me see. Hey. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Well, thank you. Hallelujah to you as well. And what's up to all you that joined? Please send this to someone you know right now who is thinking about their belief system. They need help. They need help. They need help about their belief system. We all do. But I want you to send this to somebody that you know needs help with the belief system. And someone that you know in your heart of hearts, they want to write a different document. I'll end where I start. They want to write a different document. But however, they have yet to have changed the default. I want you to send this to them. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, stay in faith.